It is Monday, January 3rd. Welcome to 2022. Surprise, we're doing a live stream. We'll tell you all about it, what we have planned for this year. And look, it's time for that bounce. Let's do it. You know what it looks like now. Here we go.
Everywhere I go, the people really want to know who I is and who I be. They stop and stare when they see me. If I said it once, no need to repeat.
All right, so you may have never seen the bounce.
They've never seen it, Paul.
But that's what it looks like,
bounce
literally.
every single day.
It does. We look just like that. It's just Kyle and I on a Google call, bouncing to ourselves. But now you know what it looks like. And welcome to a live version of the Automotive Troublemaker podcast. We've been doing this every day this is episode 69. So we've done it all those times up until now. And last week we were like, you know what? We're going all in. I mean, this decision was from idea to execution probably took about 6 minutes.
That's all it was. It was like, all right, we needed graphics, we need a background, we need all the things. Let's just go. And so now people can catch us. You can catch us on the podcast. You can catch us live every morning on Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, wherever you want to grab it. But we do this every day and it's super fun. It's our best 15. We just go all in first thing in the morning and cover a bunch of random topics.
Yeah, kind of random, sometimes random. We have our segue song and we know, we're like, well, who's going to even be watching? We're like, you know what? It doesn't matter because now we're making the content that we can share across platforms. And, we hope that this community becomes very interactive for the podcast in the morning. We're going to eventually get the comments. You know what it's like on Phone Call Fridays. We're going to call people. Maybe we'll give people an option to call in. I've always wanted to do a call-in show.
Yes. Oh, that'd be fun. Yeah.
I've really, that's been something that I've always think is so cool is that when like a caller just shows up and asks a question and puts you on the spot. I think that is super cool. So we're going to be doing a lot of that this year. There are a lot of things going on in automotive State of the Union world. The podcast is going to stay consistent every day and kind of be the staple, but we have our weekly pushback email. You see it on the ticker. If you're not a part of it, don't miss it. Sign up for the email. We send it once a week right now, every Monday. You can get it at ASOTU.com or dealerspushingback.com. It's a new change, right? We're going to start using ASOTU.com. We've owned it for a while and pay a little bit of money to get it, but I think this is the year we deploy it. And I'm just tired of long email addresses, Kyle. I think
that's exactly what I'm tired of. Long URLs. And not just that, but what I'm really excited about is I've had a few people say to me, like, what are you saying? ASOTU? What does that even mean? Right. And so now that's Automotive State of the Union. ASOTU is how you pronounce that. I remember, Paul, back when you actually decided you were going to say ASOTU, you made a post with the
this is
phonetics.
How you say it. Yes, it's pronounced AHSOTOO, right? ASOTU. I think I made the decision to do that once I heard other people saying it and referring to it. I'm like, okay, this will catch, and just like anything, I'm always saying, it doesn't matter what you name your company. It doesn't matter what you name your brand, because if you do a good enough job brand building around it, guess what? It'll just become normal vernacular.
Right. Exactly.
Like Google. Little companies like Google. So if this is your first time here, the podcast, or checking this out, or you're seeing this later on, we tend to cover topics that are not just, it's an automotive focus, right? The Automotive Troublemaker, but we try to contextualize other things that are going on in the world, in business and commerce and pop culture and technology, and even what the kids are into. When we say kids, we mean like tweens, teens, young adults. We're trying to wrap our arms around all of that and saying, this is why it matters to automotive, because the cultural center keeps shifting. And, it's our belief that if we don't shift fast enough, we're going to be bypassed. So that's what you can expect on the show from the podcast this year, going from the shallowest thing, hey, maybe did you know that kids like getting mini brands for Christmas? You're like, what's a mini brand? Or this is who Mr. Beast is, right? That's very early in culture. And then we're going to go all the way through the most innovative, experienced thought leaders in the industry, thinking about and practicing and actually doing the things that are going to make your business better, and in the end, make our industry one that's looked upon favorably by everyone.
Yeah. You know, what I love about kind of where our thought processes go, and like even what we're going to look at today, is just our desire is to constantly have one foot right now, like firmly planted now, and one foot firmly planted in the future, looking over the horizon and calling people to both, saying like, hey, right now really matters, right? The profitability, the customer engagement, the experience right now really, really matters. The people side of stuff, as we talked about last week. But also there's this future mindset, like drawing people's minds to EV and NFTs. You know, last year we minted the very first, at least from what we can tell, the very first automotive industry NFT, which is a POAP.
No one else has stepped up to claim it. So
yes,
I'm feeling more and more confident.
Exactly. So we want to keep both of that in balance and in check, and make sure that we are calling people to both, because both are extremely important to franchise retail automotive and the continued success of it. Right.
And that's what the NFT looks like. I forgot we're on video now. We've been doing audio.
Know, right?
It looks like this, and you can't get one anymore unless someone sells you theirs, which we'll sell you one. We'll sell you one, but we can't make anymore.
That's right.
Sorry to interrupt you.
No. Yeah. And well, I was just going to say, like, that's our grand desire, right? Just to kind of reset as we head into 2022, our grand desire is doing things that shift the culture and perception of automotive retail such that it's successful long into the future. And that's really what Automotive State of the Union has been since the beginning. It's saying, hey, look, despite all of the pressures, despite everything, pushing on it from the outside, whether it be COVID or chips or EVs or the metaverse, whatever it is, going, hey, look, dealers are resilient. Dealers are impressive innovators, and doing the right things and moving in the right direction will continue to keep it as the center of cultures and communities and places where people work and engage and make sure that we serve our communities long into the future. It's a massive, massive calling that we feel like we want to lean into with the dealer body, the vendor body, all of that.
It was really hard to sleep. We talked about this a little when we first jumped on earlier today. Like, it was really hard to sleep last night. We both woke up before our alarms, right? We both woke up super early because there's so much excitement around what 2022 is going to look like for our lives, for Automotive State of the Union, how we're going to use that to, draw a big circle around more people in the industry and bring them in. And I don't know that we've talked about this too much, but it seems like the right time to talk about it. First day of 2022, the first day of this live stream. What we're trying to do is rope in as many people in the industry as possible. When we look at the meaningful work that Automotive News does and people like Jim Fitzpatrick at CBT, right? We have a lot of people roping people in. We feel like, because of talking about bigger issues, more cultural stuff, our goal is to involve more people in the dealership and in the industry in things like this. A quick shot of news that's fun enough to watch that you can start thinking through and asking and engaging questions. I don't care if you're a lot porter, a service writer, a salesperson, the janitor, a customer, right? Like, I don't care, right? We're saying we're going to make this pie a lot bigger, right? We're going to get people thinking and talking, just like a book that we read, right? The Innovation Stack.
Yeah.
Talking about it was Square. What was the bank? What was the
Bank of America, which was Bank of Italy.
Right. So
previously.
Square, Bank of America, and
Southwest.
Thanks, Kyle. And all three of those examples, Square didn't try to get payment processing didn't try to pull existing customers
from the big players.
No, they said, actually, we're going to bring a lot more people into the market, smaller merchants that weren't able to process, that we're going to bring them in. Same thing with like Southwest. We're not trying to take from American and United. We're actually going to make travel so affordable and easy that we're going to bring all these people into the market that always wanted to air travel, but they couldn't. And in doing that, they made the whole market bigger. That's what we're trying to do with Automotive State of the Union. Bring all the people that are on the fringes into the circle, right?
Yeah,
and we're saying,
not just that, but like those people into the circle that then, because they're there, because they're listening, because they're engaging, go back with a renewed energy. So we've had conversations with dealers and general managers. What would it look like if your people were so drawn into that they were actually walking into your office with the most innovative ideas that you never thought that they could have? right?
And it's going to happen. It perpetuates.
It just perpetuates because the same people talking about the same things in the same circles, right? And what we want to do is draw that bigger circle so that more people talking in more places are creating innovative practices, whether it be people practices, customer experience, new products, new ways to serve your community, new creatives, all of those type of people to push into our industry.
All right. So we usually try to keep this 15 minutes or less to make it quick for you. We're almost at 10 minutes now. We had to set the table. So we got 5 minutes, Kyle. Let's get into some like automotive nuts and bolts. There's an topic that you brought up earlier that you wanted to talk about. Let's start there and like see how far we can get.
Well, and we talk about Steve Greenfield quite often because both of us, he's a friend. At least we would call him a friend. I think he would call us back that same thing. And he's someone that in the automotive industry is pointing out some of the most detailed elements of what our industry is going through. And again, is one of those people that has his foot firmly planted now and firmly planted in the future. He has a dealership index of all of the technology that surrounds the dealership and a mobility index, right? So he's constantly looking at both. Well, in today's email, which was sent out this morning, and if you don't get it, you can sign up at automotiveventures.com. But his number 3 year in review for 2021 was this stat. By the end of 2021, nearly 1/3 of Ford's U.S. retail sales were being built to order. Nearly 1/3. Okay, so 1 in every 3 Ford vehicles is year, make, model, trim, color specific from the customer to the factory and then delivered by the dealer.
Talk about a behavioral shift. I wonder what the number was in 2019.
Let's see. Does he say it? He doesn't say it there.
I feel like it's like 1 in 100.
It has
like 1 in 100.
It has to be. It has to be a massive swing. I mean, from the Ford dealers that I know, right? They're like, this is our new normal. If we don't have an ordering system on our website, right? So many put in, like kind of a stream of ordering and then creates a lead so that you can match that up. With inventory shortages, they were forced to do that. And then also because they are stateside, they have the ability to deliver those vehicles quickly, as opposed to, vehicles that are getting delivered from Japan or Germany or any of those areas of the world. So they kind of met the storm with the perfect resolution for it, for sure.
And you know what else? If I'm building a car to your spec, guess what I'm not going to do? Discount it.
Without a doubt. So
right.
literally the very next thing,
right?
Literally I don't even know if you knew this, but the very next thing in this year in a review was 87% of new vehicles bought by individual customers sold at or above MSRP.
Wow. That doesn't surprise me.
The difference is pre-pandemic, 36%.
That's, and that's just controlling. It's a supply and demand, right? Now that the supply is controlled, right?
Yes.
Demand. But what happened before? It's like, I don't know. I have 150 of those trucks on the lot. So this one's 4,000 off. This one's 6,000 off, right? This one's this and that and this because, more supply than demand. So talk about a great strategy to hold on to the profitability is changing the buyer behavior and saying like, hey, it's okay if you order it. And let's face it, when things get back to quote unquote normal, this might just be like a 4 to 6 week wait.
Yeah.
Right.
Well,
not a big deal.
That's not a big deal.
Well, it was a huge deal in 2019. Now here we are in 2022. We're like, not a big deal. Not a big deal. It's like,
right.
No, it was a huge deal. But our mindset has totally changed. Like, what do you do? What happens now when Amazon says it's going to be 3 days?
You just kind of shrug your shoulders.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Right. But back, if it's anything longer than 2 days, we were like, this sucks. Like this we're done with Amazon.
Exactly. Which is so interesting because we believed that everything was going to have to get tightened from a delivery perspective, right?
That's
tighter
right.
and tighter and tighter. But because supply and demand changed the expectation, it was able to open up. Well, speaking of Steve Greenfield.
Segue. Can I do that?
That's what we do for segues, by the way.
I love it. You got the opportunity to listen to a replay, which is an interesting newish feature on Clubhouse.
Yep.
With Steve Greenfield in David Long's All Things Used Car Room last week. And there were some really interesting insights about EVs and subscriptions, right?
Yeah, this will be our last tip for the day. We got about a minute left. So the premise was that EV subscription revenue, Mary Barra said like, hey, it's a trillion I don't remember the number, but basically it's like, we're going to triple the number, or no. It was like 2 billion is our subscription revenue from like OnStar and things like that. And we want to move that to like 25 billion, right? So it's a major change, like a 10x increase in subscription revenue. How are we going to do that? Well, offering more products and services. Every vehicle coming off the line is, equipped with 5G capability. So we can unlock features and update cars, very similar to what Tesla is doing, surprise and delighting and doing. But also we're talking about buying things like features or adding horsepower to your vehicle. Hey, we just unlocked 100 horsepower. And then when you add it, who actually owns it? Does it stay with the vehicle? Does it go back to the person? Right? Does it just disappear? And that it was like you paid $100 to have that horsepower, or $20 a month or whatever you paid to unlock it until you don't own the vehicle anymore, and then it just evaporates, similar to like a spot of like a music subscrition, right? You have rights to listen to it.
My thought is like trade value, right? Because people upgrade stuff on their vehicle all the time, and I remember, right, in the dealership, like you got a Jeep Wrangler that's coming in,
let's go,
and someone's got it lifted. And they're like, wait. I got to take it to my guy to get the lift off so I can put it on my next Jeep Wrangler.
Right.
But then one guy, because maybe it didn't add enough value for him going into the trade cycle.
And resale, right.
Yeah. So now you think about that from a software perspective. Like, does it allow to pass on so that you can maybe increase value of trade because you can't carry it to the next vehicle that you have?
Yeah, it's
or
interesting.
You want to keep it because you're carrying it to the next. Such an interesting change in vehicle ownership and accessorizing, right?
Yeah, right. The window sticker is no longer going to be the authority on how the vehicle is actually equipped at the moment. I mean, it seems like a pretty easily solvable thing. We're just not used to thinking that way. But I will tell you, I am still disgruntled. Like, once the expectation, you know where I'm going with this. Right now, it is 16 degrees in Syracuse, and it was brand new 2020 Kia Telluride, top level trim, right? I can't start it remotely. Why, you ask? Well, because I did not realize that when the vehicle is marketed with auto start, requires a subscription because you got 12 months for free. And then when I was told I had to pay $14.99 a month, by the way, which is, if you think
double
about
Netflix,
that's what I'm just saying, right? And what does Netflix provide me? Peace and quiet, because my kids watch it, right? So you think of the value proposition that I get for $8.99. And I'm going to pay $14.99 so I can remote start my car that I already expect that I should be able to, because it was a $50,000 vehicle. Like, Kia, if you're listening, I'm still upset about it. No one ever fixed this problem, and it would have been really cheap. This is my 4th Kia. It may be my last over this. I'm just that kind of person. But I'm probably going to pay $100. It's too late now. It's my last year. I can live with it for like 12 more weeks. I don't need the remote start. But I used to start it from the plane, right? Like, as soon as you get Wi-Fi signal, right? I'm starting my car so that when I get to it in the cold, it's already warm. Can't do that anymore, Kia. It's your fault. And if you're listening to it, not to mention, let me just go. It's not even close to as good as the Lincoln app, because I have the Lincoln app too, which, by the way, I can start my car for free because that's the Lincoln experience. Thank you, Matthew McConaughey. But all the way, I'm ranting now. But the truth is, if my mindset was set into a subscription mode, which is going to happen now because we're going to be sold an upgrade or know that it's available, I wouldn't feel like this at all. Bait and switch. So, that's a little bit. I can't get my trigger pads right, Kyle.
Can't even get it right.
I can't get it right.
It's all mixed up. He's so upset about his $14.99 app.
And now we've gone overtime. But this is a little hint on what you're going to get every morning. We're going to get to business a lot earlier tomorrow. But we just wanted to set you up. Thanks for being here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for being on this journey with us. Tomorrow is a brand new day of troublemaking.